In this video, I'm going to show you how to tag data in your worksheets. First, I'm going to show you how to tag just an area of cells. Second of all, I'm going to show you how to tag a range name. And third, I'm going to show you how to tag a table. What you have here is a worksheet with a set of cells. They're not defined inside a range name. They're not a table object, nor are they a pivot table result set. They're just a simple range of cells with information arranged in what amounts to table format. In a rectangle with a single row of titles and a set of information arranged in rows as records, and preferably, but not necessarily, with no blank rows between the first row and the last row. Now, this is a very small record set. In the real world, your record sets could be hundreds or thousands of tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of records. So this range of cells is what's known as contiguous in the sense that there's no blank rows and no blank columns. So I could select the range ahead of time and say this is the range I want to tag, or all I really need to do is put the cursor anywhere in the range, go to the Excel Publish ribbon, and choose Tag Data. When I go Tag Data, it says, oh, is this the range that you want? Now, you could also change and amend the range at that time, but if you have good structure, it should be correct the very first time. And you hit Select, and it starts the process of tagging this. So the next thing it says is, okay, what is the name of this? So I'm going to call this emp data. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to go add. And now what it has done is it has tagged this information, this range of cells, and it has turned it into an object that will then subsequently be published by Excel Publish. And to check to see whether it's tagged properly, you can go to Manage Tags, and it will show you a list of all the tags that are in this document that are already tagged. Also, from in this range, you could also select and do your tagging from within this dialog box if you so choose. You'll notice once you've tagged this object that there's a formula in the bottom right-hand corner. That formula is created by Excel Publish to define the range. Do not delete this, or the range will just disappear as a tag. It just won't be tagged anymore. But if you want to expand the range, you can drag this down and put in more values, or you can just insert rows or delete rows or columns within the defined range, and this will automatically still reference back to the upper left-hand corner. Our next type of tag object is called a range name. Our range names have been around forever in spreadsheets, and most people know something about them, but let's talk about them anyway. If I select this range, and you'll see the advantages of using a range name when you're in Excel Publish. So let's go here, and if I go get range emp data and I hit enter, then that range is defined within Excel. So if I say go to range emp data, it takes me to that area. And again, as you probably know, if you insert a row or rows and you say go to range emp data again, the range has expanded because I inserted. Therefore, it is a dynamic range that is active within the model. Of course, range names are really useful in a lot of ways in Excel, but it's especially useful if you want to use that in Excel Publish, because it means if you add more rows or you delete rows or add more fields to that range name and you keep it consistent in its design, then next time you publish, it'll publish the new data instead of the old data. And that's the reason you use Excel Publish. Now, when I want to tag this, I go tag, and it says, okay, what is the range? It's range emp data. And I want to call this range emp data, just to be different. Now that you have those two objects tagged, when you go to Manage Tags, it will show you a list of all the objects you have tagged. In this case, there is two. There is the cells and there is the range name. Now we're going to tag a table. Well, this is the same original range. If I click anywhere in that range, say in the middle, anywhere, and I go Insert Table, make sure you include your table with headers, click OK, now it's selected this table. Again, if I'm anywhere in this range with Excel Publish, I just tag it, and it comes up and says Table 4. Now, of course, you can change the name anytime you want, so you can go Table Emp Data. So we have a third object in this model. And now if we go Manage Tags, you're going to see that we have now got 3 objects tagged. Each one of these objects is exactly the same, but they come from a different type of source. When you create a new file and you don't change anything, the default target information about this file consists of a name that is the actual name of the file with XLP underscore at the beginning of it. Now you can change this name if you want, but that is the default name. The default is that it will create a target file, that target file, in the same folder as the source file, and by default it does not publish to Power BI, although with a simple check it will by default publish to your My Workspace but you can type in any workspace you want as long as it's, remember, it's case sensitive. So once I've done that, I'm just going to create the target file. All I need to do now is go publish. When I hit publish, it says, okay, I'm ready to do these 3 ranges. Go for it. So when I click on it, it starts to publish these. Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to zoom ahead. So there you go. We've published this file and its 3 tagged objects to a target file. Remember, when you first created, the first time you create a target file, it takes a little longer than subsequent publishes, because all the subsequent publishes do is refresh that existing target file. But let's look at what we got. If I go close on this, now I go up to the Excel Publish menu and I say Open Target File. And it will actually reach in, open the target file, and here it is. This is the info table. Now I will talk about the target file in detail in another video that's up here. But the most important thing to look at this point is this. We have a table here that's based on the original object. Range emp data is based on the second object. And table emp date is based on the third object. And you'll notice they look exactly the same. And that's the whole idea. Now I'll go back to this original file. And now what I can do is I can go into Manage Tags, and I can say, okay, I just want to have 1. So I go Delete. Now that you've seen that they're identical, let's just go down to 1 range. And what we're doing is we're deleting the tagging. We're not touching the workbook or the worksheet in any way. Those objects still exist. So we've left Employee Table, Table Emp Data, as our exclusive objects. So now I go publish, and you notice now it says there's only 1 object that it's publishing. And when I publish it, it will get rid of the 2 objects that aren't necessary anymore and leave you with the 1 object in the target file. It'll automatically clean up the target file to show only the data that you now choose to publish. Now it says it's published the 1 table. Let's go close and let's open the target file again. And now we only have 1 table. Table emp data. and that is the object that is visible in the target file. So by simply going delete on the two objects that we don't need anymore, we have now in the next publish cleaned up the target file. So in this video, I showed you the three basic types of ranges that you can tag to use in Excel Publish. One is just an area of cells, one is a range name, and one is a table. Then when we published them to the target file, we noticed that they were exactly the same. So we went back, we deleted two of the tags, and we republished, and you'll notice how Excel Publish cleaned up the resulting data set. So there was only one left. Now